Welcome to this frequently asked question session. This time we are going to have the question, is a SENCO qualified to use psychometric assessments?
It depends.
It depends on what?
It depends on a lot, actually. Okay, so a lot of issues have arisen, I suppose. So you're a SENCO, you have undertaken the SENCO award, which is a level 7 qualification, and you hop along to a new school and you rummage around in the stock cupboard and you find a load of assessments lurking at the back. The question is, are you qualified to use those? And the answer is probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. Possibly not. Maybe.
Why not?
Okay. So your SENCO is a qualification in being a SENCO. It is not a qualification in psychometric testing. And that is what most of those assessments in the back of that cupboard are likely to be. You need, and when you go and look on a website, it will say you need a relevant level 7 qualification. The SENCO is not a relevant level 7 qualification for that. You need to have a qualification that includes psychometric testing in there. So you're looking at something like the CSET or the CPT-3A or the PATOS equivalent, I think it's APAA or something like that. You need one of those qualifications, or you need to be a specialist teacher to be able to use those assessments that are lurking in the cupboard. There are some that we are allowed to use. So, for example, you can use the electronic CATS testing. Anybody can actually deliver that and then pull off the report that gives the information at the end of it. There isn't actually any interpretation involved in that because it just spits out a report with the information on it. However, something like RAT, W-R-A-T, which is the Wide Range Achievement Test, or RIT, which is the Wide Range Intelligence Test, they all require a level of competency in psychometric testing. And that doesn't come from doing the SENCO award. I kind of compare it a little bit like doctors and dentists. They both have a certain level of qualification. They've trained for an awfully long period of time. But I wouldn't want a doctor to operate on an abscess on my tooth. I would want a dentist to do it. I want somebody who's experienced in that field to do it. So we can't just assume, okay, I've got a level 7 qualification as an SENCO. Yeah, that was right. Okay, I've got a qualification, I've got the SENCO. That doesn't mean you can do psychometric testing. Okay. If you need to check which assessments you can and can't use, easiest way I've found of doing it, if you go to Ann Arbor Publishing, which is a we'll put a link down there.
Link's here. Look here.
Just there somewhere.
Scroll at the moment.
If you go there is a page, and on that page it talks about the level of qualification required. It actually really worries me when I see people advertising with, I've got 15 such and such blank forms left available. Does anybody want them? Or somebody asking for them. And I make goosebumps and cringe because you don't know who you're selling them to and whether that person is qualified to actually use them.
So be aware of people out there selling stuff. How do you check that somebody... Sorry, another question, people. Probably not on the frequently asked questions piece, but hey-ho. How do you check that somebody that you are hiring in has that qualification? Is there a database?
So if they are doing your access arrangements for you, which would generally use these kind of assessments, then yes, there is a database. They have to be on there. Most of us would have a certificate. So I have a CPT-3A certificate, and I was registered with the BPS at one point. Actually, I'm registered with the BPS again now, but not for the same reason. So there is a database that sits out there. Back to your education psychologist, they will be on the HCPC list, so checking whether that person's HCPC registered. You've got some assessments that require a certain level of SALT qualification, speech and language qualification. You can't just go on there and buy any old assessment tool because you think it looks good. It'd be great if we could do that, but you can't. You need to have a certain level of qualification in that, and there's a register for those as well.
Okay.
But ask to see their qualification certificate. That would be my easiest way of
Yeah.
achieving that.